morning. It is Friday, and it is Daled Nisan Tov Shin Ayin Zayin. We are in the Mamar of Purim in Sefer Hamamorim Teres Menachem Sefer Hamamorim Tov Shin Yud Gimel in the second Mamar of Purim. Mamar Al Kein, and we are in the middle of Ois Daled, chapter 4, on page Kuf Yud Beis. We are six lines from the beginning of the Ois. The line starts Mei Oir Ein Sof, and we're at the full stop. V'zehu HaKesher. So the Rebbe is explaining that Yom Kippur and Purim are similar in that both are associated with the concept of Geidel, lottery, lot, and both of them are beyond Shem Havaya Yudke Vovke. The Rebbe explained that when we say that it is beyond Yudke Vovke, it is also beyond the edge of the Yud. Yud Kei Vovke denotes Hishtalshalus, from Chachma through Malchus, as it's symbolized in each one of the four letters of Yud Kei Vovke. The edge of the Yud symbolizes Rotzoin, the level of will, desire, which is beyond Chachma, beyond intellect. And Geirol, which is the idea of Purim and Yom Kippur, is beyond even Rotzon. Based on this, the Rebbe began to explain in chapter 4 the connection between the two interpretations of Yom HaKippurim. The literal translation of the simple translation of the simple meaning of Yom HaKippurim is a day on which our iniquities are forgiven, are cleansed. And the deeper interpretation, as explained earlier in the Maimer, that it is Yom Kippurim, that Yom Kippurim is that Yom Kippur is a day like Purim. It's similar to Purim. What's the connection between these two interpretations? Being, as we just explained, said the Rebbe, that Yom Kippur is associated with a level which is beyond the Rotzain, beyond will. Torah and mitzvahs, what does Torah and mitzvahs represent? Hashem's will. What are mitzvahs? Mitzvahs are Hashem's will. Hashem wants us to do this, Hashem wants us not to do that, and so on and so forth. So that's the dargah, the level of Rotzain, being that Geidel, which is the theme of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is connected to the idea of Geidel, as just explained, which is beyond Rotzain. That means to say, in other words, that the cleansing, the kapara, the Yom HaKippurim, the day on which we are cleansed and forgiven, that is because what is present on that day is a level of godliness which is even beyond Hashem's Ratzon, Hashem's will and Torah and mitzvahs, and that has the capacity, the ability, the power to forgive the transgressions against Hashem's will, because we tap into a level which is beyond Hashem's will. To use the terminology that Rebbe used in the Maimer earlier, and in this case, the Baal HaRatzon, we tap in to the owner of the will, to Hashem himself. Hashem is infinite light, which is beyond his will. That's what we're up to. 6 lines from the top. The line begins Me'er and Sof at the full stop. This is the connection to Shnei HaPirushim B'Yom Kippurim in the two. This is the connection between the two interpretations of Yom Kippurim. The fact that we say that Yom Kippurim is like Purim, Al Shem HaPur Hu HaGeidel. It's like Purim, and Purim is named for the Pur, which is the lottery, Hainu, meaning to say, Shegam B'Yom HaKippurim Hu HaHamshach Mibal HaRatzon. Dugmas HaHamshach de Purim, meaning to say that also on Yom Kippur there is a presence. What is drawn down on Yom Kippur is a level of godliness from the Baal HaRatzon, the owner of the will, similar to the drawing down of energy that takes place when? On Purim. This is Hutam Ubiyur. This is a reason and an explanation. Al Zesher Yom Kippurim Kipshute. The fact that it is similar to Purim, meaning to say that on Yom Kippur there is also a drawing down from a level of godliness which is beyond Ratzon, it's from the Baal Ratzon, just like Purim. That is a reason, an explanation why it is a Yom Kippurim Kipshutei, why it is in a simple sense a day of atonement, a day of forgiveness. On which those negative iniquities, the iniquities of the person, are forgiven. Why? As mentioned, because we tap into a level which is beyond Ratzon. We tap into the level of godliness which of the Baal Ratzon, the owner of the world. If that's the case, why is it Yom Kippurim? Why is in which way is Purim greater than Yom Kippur? If they're both associated to a level of godliness which is beyond Ratzon, is the Baal Ratzon, and that is what? Both true for Yom Kippur and for Purim. In what way is Purim greater than Yom Kippur? To the extent that we say that Yom Kippur is Yom Kippurim, like Purim, meaning to say that it is slightly inferior and Purim is superior. In what way is that? The Rebbe explains, Zehu Masha HaKapora, the Purim Hinayil is Yeser. Mea Kapora the Yom Kippurim, this is also the reason why. And this is also why the Kapora, the forgiveness, the cleansing of Purim, is greater than the Kapora, the forgiveness, the cleansing of Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippurim mechaper alei matshuva. Yom Kippur only forgives, it's conditional. Yes, indeed, Yom Kippur is a day of atonement, right? But there is a condition. You need to do tshuva. And the forgiveness that took place, the cleansing that came about for all the Jews in the days of Purim, it's a day of joy. What's the pshat? The point is this.
When you say the source of simcha is higher than the source of sugar.
You're hitting the point, but you're looking at it slightly from a different perspective. What's Purim? What's Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is a day of atonement. It's a day you do tshuva. It's a day we ask Hashem for forgiveness, right? And it has the power, the divine energy to bring about that forgiveness. Why? Because we are tapping into a level which is beyond Ratzon, beyond Hashem's will, beyond that level which is present in Torah and mitzvahs. There's a much higher energy. But what? It's tshuva. It's a day of tshuva. What's Purim? Purim is a day of simcha. You have to be happy. You have to have a sudas Purim, etc., etc. It's a whole. It's something completely different. Tshuva, if you look at the matzav nefesh, the soul condition of somebody that's in a state of tshuva, and somebody that's in a state of simcha, they're opposites. They're different, right? So, in other words, the famous word that which we can accomplish on Yom Kippur through fasting and davening, we accomplish on Purim through being joyous and celebrating. What's the pshat? It's not pshat that we're saying you do tshuva b'simcha. It's simcha. Why is that? Because this comes from a level of godliness which is even greater, even higher and deeper than what? Than the level of Getlchat that's present when? On Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, yes, we can be forgiven, but what do we need? You have to pray, you have to fast. Purim, you have to be b'simcha. Why? Because Yemot Vet Nimshech was drawn down Malmayla from above, is a level of godliness which is beyond everything. So that's the point that Rebbe makes. If you look at Ha'ara 26, for example, the Rebbe says that in other places in Chassidus it explains that the Maila, the virtue that Yom Kippur has over Purim is as follows. At the end of the day, it says in the other Mamarim, it says like as follows: that on Yom Kippur, at the end of the day, doesn't forgive for everything. In other words, it's not complete. For example, if somebody transgresses iniquities for which one's liable Kodesh and Mrs. Bezin to be cut off and death by Beth Din, the Gemara Kapora, the fullness of the cleansing is through Yisurim, God forbid, through inflictions of suffering. If this Chil Hashem, profaning Hashem's name, the full kapora is only chas v'chalila through death, right? So it says in other Mamarim that the kapora, whereas the kapora on Purim, was what? Where it was a chil Hashem b'far Hesya, it was profaning Hashem's name publicly. Why? Because they had pleasure from the Suda of Achashverosh, of the meal of Achashverosh. Nevertheless, it was forgiven. It was forgiven, and they didn't need what? The other conditions that normally are necessary for the fullness of the forgiveness. Why? Because again, from such a high level that those conditions were not necessary, right? The Rebbe says, but what's the chiddush that's in this Maimer? Over here, the Rebbe says something deeper, based on the Alter Rebbe's Maimer and Torah Eir. That what? That even those, excuse me, that even concerning those things that the iniquities upon which Yom Kippur does forgive, there's also a mile. So in other words, according to that which is explained in other places, the Chassidus that he quotes, what's the mile of Purim over Yom Kippur? It would seem there are certain iniquities that Yom Kippur and Purim, the atonement is the same. In other words, anything that's not Krisus or Mrs. Besdin and not Chil Hashem, regular Avedis, regular iniquities. Is there any virtue in the kapara, forgiveness of Purim over Yom Kippur? The answer would be no, according to the way it's explained in other places of Chassidus, concerning those iniquities. They're both forgiven. In the same way. Where is the Maila? Where is the virtue of Purim over Yom Kippur? In those iniquities concerning which Yom Kippur doesn't give you total cleansing, and you need additional chas v'chalila conditions in order for that cleansing to be complete. And on Purim, that's not necessary. Says the Rebbe, according to what is explained in the Maimer, even in those iniquities in which Purim and Yom Kippur are atoned and cleansed equally, there is also a Maila of virtue in Purim over Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, the forgiveness takes about how? Through tshuva, through prayer, through fasting. On Purim, the forgiveness comes about through simcha. It's something which is completely beyond. You don't focus on there's no al-chet on Yom Kippur. I'm Purim. It's simcha. And the simcha brings about the atonement, the cleansing.
Why can't you just say that we know that down in this world, or in the stage of Dalshus, that Ches is above Gevura, and therefore inherently above Ratzon, it must be like that as well, potentially, and therefore Purim already would have an advantage over the Yom Kippur, which would be for Gevura.
Why? Yom Kippur is also beyond Ratzon. That's the point that he's making.
Right.
They're both Geirel.
They're both Geirel, I understand, but somehow Chesed has an advantage over Gevura. It's above it in the state.
Why are you defining Purim and Yom Kippur as Chesed and Gevura? Because of how we celebrate.
It's how we celebrate the fact that that we have to do teshuva. There's a way.
Well, that's exactly the point. Without
much more about Gevura, and then the fact is you don't cleanse, you deal with everything on it.
But you're looking at it from the bottom up. That over here we have to do something which is Gevura-dik, Gevura-like, and here we do something which is Chesed-like. Right, the Rebbe is going to the root of it. Yes, Yom Kippur is the idea of Geirel. It's not only Geirel. You have elements of Geirel there too. That's how the kapara comes about for those things. That's how kapara comes about in general. But you need additional things because it's not completely Geirel. It's not as high and as deep. As high and as deeply rooted in Geirel as Purim. Whereas Purim is completely beyond Ratzon. And I believe later on, if I'm not mistaken, we'll have to check later on, the Rebbe is going to explain that, in fact, this is the point that he's saying here. In the Baal HaRatzon, in the owner of the will, so to speak, they're both beyond Ratzon. But in that, beyond Purim is more deeply rooted. It's a lot more connected closer to the very essence of Hashem, so to speak, than Yom Kippur, right? Therefore, the way it's brought about, the state in which the person should be on Purim is in a state of simcha. The simcha is not a derivative. It's of something else. It is the manifestation. It is the revelation, right? It is the active demeanor in which the person is as a result of the level of godliness that's present there. Yom Kippur is a whole different thing. Yom Kippur is tshuva, Yom Kippur is tefillah, Yom Kippur is vidui. So it's not pshat that this is a lower level of tshuva and this is a higher level of tshuva. No. It's a lot deeper. That's the point that I was making. And that's why Yom Kippur is like Purim, similar to Purim. It's similar. It has similar elements. But Purim is in a league of its own in that sense. That's why the Rebbe says that over here, the way he explains it over here, even in the iniquities in which Yom Kippur and Purim are equally atoned effectively, right? The way in which that atonement comes about is completely different. Another line. This is the reason why the cleansing of Purim is higher than the cleansing of Yom Kippur. The Yom Kippurim ain't mechaper elei matshuva v'kapor she'oisa l'chol Yehudim b'mei Purim harei zeh simcha, because we know that in what way Yom Kippur only cleanses with tshuva, right? If there's tshuva together with it, the Rebbe quotes from different sources because there are differences of opinions concerning this. But let's take that as read that Yom Kippur you need tshuva for the forgiveness, for the cleansing. V'kapor she'oisa l'chol Yehudim b'mei Purim harei zeh simcha. And the cleansing that came about for all the Jews in the days of Purim are days of joy. Why is that? Because indeed the main idea of this presence of the level of Geirel, meaning to say the drawing down of the level of godliness, the Balaratzen level, the Eirus of the Hashem's infinite light, the Balaratzen. When is that? That's mainly on Purim. That's on Purim. The Layomim Atzmam Nikroim B'Shem Purim Al Shem HaPur. The days themselves are called Purim, named after the Geirel. The days themselves are the level of Geirel. In other words, they themselves have the presence of the Baal HaRotzen. That's what Purim is about. Another way of saying Purim is the manifestation of the Baal HaRotzen, the manifestation of the owner of the will, so to speak, of Hashem himself. Therefore, the cleansing which took place during the days of Purim has no limitations at all, unlike what? Yom Kippur, which does. And Yom Kippurim is Kippurim, like Purim. Only with a comparative chaf, you compare it, meaning to say that it is inferior to Purim, which is superior. And Yom Kippur only forgives if there is tshuva along with it. Why? Because Purim is inherently the idea of Baal HaRotzen, the presence of the Baal HaRotzen, whereas on Yom Kippur you have elements of that. And Purim is superior. From here, the Rebbe is going to go into now ask the question: if Geirel Lot is such a high level, where does Haman's Geirel come into it? And that mitzvah we will continue on Sunday.